Now we come to a situation that we have understood that when we are writing our program, so in our program we initially include some things which we don't know what is inside them. For example, when we are writing a very simple program, so we always write about hash include stdio dot h. So this file is header file which gives us the definition and background requirement of taking input and output from the user, and then it displaying it to the user on screen. So this type of functionality, we are not implementing it in our program, but we are using it because it has been already developed. So that's why we need to use it. So anything which is written in your program starting from has character, that is called preprocessor directives. So preprocessor directives actually do what, that they before compilation process replace the actual code in your source code so that it becomes complete, and then compilation process starts. So C processing happens before the compilation process and after saving of your program and when you start running. So that is the first step which starts, as discussed in previous class in one of the diagram. So what happens that if you want to create constant using these preprocessor directives, so you will do what? You will write hash define identifier and value. Identifier means the value or the name you want to give to your variable. So that variable will automatically become constant, although it is not variable stored in the memory, because before going to the memory, it will be converted into the actual constant value which has been assigned to it. Okay, so for example, you are calculating something in your program related to the circle, and in circle most of the things when you calculate, you use pi value. So pi value is 3.14159. Okay, or it can be 22 divided by 7. So this will remain same everywhere, anywhere your program runs. It can be USA or it can be India, because it is scientific and standard value. So then what you do, you if you write everything like 3.14 every time when you need pi, then your code becomes little bit complicated, and you do not see why this constant is being used, because constant in itself cannot tell you what is the purpose of that constant unless you give the name to that constant in the form of the variable or in the form of some other identifier. So here what we have done, we have created one name for our value 3.14159, and that name we are creating with the help of preprocessor directives. So what we have done, that has defined pi 3.1415. So whenever we need value of the pi, we will place pi there and we will do all the calculations. And when internally we will think that pi is a pi is a variable and it will be taking memory from the taking value from the memory, but not. Pi is a name or identifier given to this constant value which you have defined here, and when this program goes to your pre-processing phase, the value of the pi will be replaced everywhere in your program with 3.14159. So that's why it will automatically place, but it will make your code neat and clean so that you can understand what is this value. Okay, so when you read this program, you will always see pi, but when your program runs, it will automatically be replaced by the value 3.141. Okay, so that is going to happen in your code. Let's understand this thing with the help of this code which I have written. So suppose I want to calculate the area of a circle, and if I want to calculate area of a circle, so I need radius, and from the radius, rest of the information I need is radius square and then multiplication with pi. So pi times radius square I have to do. In this case, what happens that you include stdio.h as we have been doing in all the programs, then you define value of the 3.14. So has defined pi 3.14. Now you take value of the radius, you declare variable float value radius equals to 7.9. After that, you declare one variable in which you will store the calculated area, float area, and then you calculate these values with the help of the formula. In formula, you have pi r square. So you write that pi r square like pi star, star means multiplication, radius multiplication radius. So this way you have done it. Now your value will come in area and it will print your area, and if we run this program, so you will see the second black screen in which area is calculated and it is displayed. But what happens in this case, that when you start, you write this program and you save this program and you go for the compilation process. So then before compilation process, there is one step that is called pre-processing. In that pre-processing, this pi value will be replaced by 3.14, but you will not know about whether it has been replaced or not. Automatically it will replace, and then your calculation will start. Okay, so this is the way that whenever you think that there is one value which will not change anywhere and it will remain constant, so you can give that value one name with the help of preprocessor directives and then use it in a better way. Because if you write every time 3.15 or 3.15 something like that in the program, and when somebody else read it and that person doesn't know how to calculate the radius or does not have that understanding, then that person will think why this value is being used, because this constant value in itself cannot define what is the purpose of this value. So to avoid that misunderstanding, we always give value name and then we try to make program neat and clean so that everybody understand and we also do not confuse these things.